In the realm of design flexibility, proceduralism is everything. That means, instead of hard geometry defined by vertices, our models are defined by changeable mathematical parameters. And that is why geometry nodes is such a big thing in Blender now. But don't worry, we won't be talking about geometry nodes. We'll stay a notch lower than that and discuss some modifiers, which is another way of procedurally changing the geometry. It may not directly relate to cinematographic composition, but it holds an immense importance. Modifiers are your best friends when it comes to achieving flexibility, maintaining a non-destructive workflow in your everyday work. The modifiers that I personally find myself using quite a lot are bevel, mirror, array, boolean. So these can save you a tremendous amount of time while giving you flexibility to change these parameters at a later stage if you wish. These modifiers are not exclusive to Blender. You can find similar iterations in other softwares as well. Let's go over our scene and see how we've used each one of these modifiers. Practically everything in here is beveled, which gives the light something to bounce off from and therefore enhances the form of the model. It also gives it a smooth edge instead of a hard cut between the surfaces. We discussed bevels in the very first chapter, and you can go and have a look at that if you need to. Now, we've used a mirror modifier in the furnace model here. We can see that since the other half of the furnace is supposed to be identical to the other side, we can safely use the mirror modifier to just copy and flip the entire thing to complete its form. Now I admit mirror modifier can be a bit finicky to work with at times and you don't know what axis to use, but I use the add-on hard ops to do the mirroring. And that makes it a lot more simpler and effective. You can just choose your source geometry and then the geometry you want to have the mirror in relation to. Press Alt X, then select the axis you want it mirrored in. Array modifier has been used to create these wooden rail tracks. Instead of painstakingly placing each wooden plank, we can utilize the power of array modifier by defining the appropriate offset and deforming the array along a curve. Using the curve modifier, we achieve a convincing result. This technique not only saves us time, but also guarantees us the flexibility to adjust the number of planks and customize the offset between them according to our preference. A similar approach can be used to make the wooden ramp and the conveyor belt. By leveraging the array modifier and manipulating its parameters, we can readily generate repetitive elements with ease. This non-destructive workflow empowers us to make adjustments effortlessly, and that ensures that our designs remain flexible throughout the creative process. I used to hate booleans, now I love them. I use boolean modifier all the time to cut through surfaces in modeling. You can see that a lot of the models in our scene have used boolean modifiers for cutting. I use box cutter for the boolean workflow, but that's a topic for another day. Booleans, I believe, probably give you the most flexibility in your design. There are some nuances related to topology with them, particularly when you use bevel modifier on top of the boolean, but they can be fixed with some practice and insight. So you see, the beauty of using modifiers lie in their ability to maintain proceduralism and non-destructive workflows. They allow us to iterate and experiment without permanently destroying and altering our geometry. Whenever we need to change the look of an object, simply change the modifier settings and off you go. Trust me on this. When you are working on a commercial project, you will find yourself constantly iterating, changing so many things as you go, and you will thank yourself for working procedurally when you have to make those changes. Now, using modifiers is not just limited to modifying the models that you already have. By adopting a modifier-centric workflow, you unlock a realm of possibilities. There's an entire field of generative modeling where you can make intricate shapes by just using the modifiers alone. And so this empowers you to explore various design iterations rapidly. So, conclusively, the flexibility of your design is greatly enhanced by the clever utilization of modifiers. I hope that this drills in the importance of incorporating proceduralism into your workflow wherever you can. Let me know if this makes sense to you. In the next chapter, we'll talk about how symmetry affects your designs. Until then, farewell.